In this very moment, as you settle into a cozy nook, perhaps you feel the embrace of soft cushions beneath you and the gentle caress of a blanket wrapped around you. The atmosphere is serene, inviting you to explore the depths of your imagination while remaining anchored in the comfort of your surroundings. Now, let your senses awaken to a warm breeze that sweeps through the air, wrapping around you like an old friend. As you breathe in deeply, you might find the air carries with it the faintest scent of blooming flowers, sweet and lush, blending seamlessly with the rich, earthy undertones of damp soil that offer a hint of the wild world beyond. Imagine the whisper of rustling leaves as they dance upon branches just overhead, swaying lightly to the rhythm of the wind. Each leaf murmurs stories of the past, tales of explorers and adventurers who once roamed these very paths. There is a timeless quality to this sound, almost hypnotic, as it guides your thoughts towards a world that has long since faded into memory. Now, let your mind wander, drifting further back to a time when explorers set foot in what was once a vibrant jungle empire, alive with wonders both grand and mysterious. Picture the dense canopy overhead, a tapestry of emerald green, dappled sunlight filtering through, casting playful shadows upon the ground. The air is thick with humidity, every breath tinged with the promise of discovery and the unknown. It is a time of exploration. Brave souls venture into this lush wilderness, drawn by whispers of treasures buried deep within the jungle's heart. Treasures waiting to be unearthed by those daring enough to tread its paths. Imagine them, clad in sturdy boots and wide-brimmed hats, armed with maps etched in ink, their eyes shining with the thrill of anticipation. The jungle pulses with life, a cacophony of sounds enveloping them, from the distant calls of exotic birds to the low growls of unseen creatures lurking in the underbrush. Feel the energy of this wild place brimming with secrets. Each step forward an invitation to unveil the tapestry of history woven into the fabric of the very air they breathe. As these explorers navigate through the towering trees and thick vines, they feel a sense of reverence for the land. Every broken twig underfoot resonates like a heartbeat, echoing the ancient rhythms of the jungle that have persisted long after the civilizations that flourished here have faded. This energy wraps around them, a woven cloth of magic and mystery, and every pulse of the jungle pulls them deeper into its embrace, a call to the adventurer within. And as you weave between the past and the present, take a moment to absorb the beauty of this moment. Let the sounds and warmth envelop you, beckoning you into the depths of your own cherished explorations, echoing the timeless dance of the explorers who came before you. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows through the dense canopy of the jungle. A vibrant green overwhelmed the senses, with the leafy foliage forming an intricate tapestry high above. Each layer of the jungle seemed alive, a chaotic but beautiful symphony. The rustling of leaves greeted the gentle caress of a warm breeze, whispering secrets held within the emerald walls. Beneath the thicket, the ground was a patchwork of damp earth and sprawling roots, while the air was thick with the earthy scent of decomposing foliage, a rich reminder of nature's inevitable cycle. As the sunlight dappled the ground, shimmering through the trees, the jungle's inhabitants began to come alive. The calls of distant creatures echoed, a chorus of chirps, growls, and hums that echoed off the massive trunks of ancient trees. Here, nature flourished, vibrant and untamed. The rich sounds of the jungle became a palpable force that urged the heart to beat faster, an orchestra playing the score of adventure. Among this verdant chaos stood Julian, a young explorer with wide eyes and dreams that stretched as far as the horizon. Clad in a lightweight shirt and sturdy cargo pants, he felt the weight of anticipation heavy in his chest. It was a venture he had long prepared for, with maps meticulously drafted and the names of long-lost worlds whispering in his mind. But trepidation flickered in his heart, like the elusive fireflies dancing in the twilight. Every step he took deeper into the verdant wilderness seemed to echo his internal conflict. A yearning for discovery interlaced with a fear of the unknown. Julian paused, casting his gaze upward as he savored the beauty that surrounded him. The lush greens painted a bright canvas, filled with splashes of vivid oranges and yellows from the wildflowers that peeked through the emerald underbrush. His breath caught as the sounds of the jungle crescendoed, enveloping him in nature's embrace. It was thrilling, yet unnerving, and he realized that the stories he had read came alive in vivid colors and sounds. A world both nurturing and fierce. Then, just as he began to lose himself in the beauty around him, a glint caught his eye. He turned, drawn towards it, an unyielding pull guiding his steps. Pushing aside the coarse vines that tangled their way through the brush, he stumbled upon something extraordinary. Ancient stone ruins, half swallowed by the jungle's embrace. Giants of stone jutted out from the earth, adorned with intricate carvings worn by time and covered in a tapestry of green moss and creeping vines, suggesting stories long forgotten. The sight filled Julian with awe, an emotion sharply intertwined with an unsettling fear. Each stone seemed to hum with whispered history, and he felt himself stepping into a world untouched, where time stood still and the very air felt thick with the echoes of lost voices. As he stood before the ruins, his heart raced, beating for adventure, yet tremulous at the thought of what lay ahead. A sense of reverence overcame him, and he reached out to touch the cool surface of the stones. They were rough beneath his fingertips, remnants of a civilization that had long since crumbled to dust.
The chill ran through him like a current, filling him with the weight of their ancient stories, tales of triumph, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time that the jungle had quietly swallowed. As he stepped closer, the atmosphere shifted. Shadows elongated and thickened, wrapping around him as night loomed. His heart pulsed in rhythm with the jungle, wild and uncharted, filled with potential and peril. Julian stood at the threshold of discovery, ready to unearth the mysteries contained within the stone. With each breath, he could almost hear the jungle itself exhaling in anticipation, urging him to delve deeper into its heart. Where once there was only the untouched serenity of nature, there now existed an ancient pact between the jungle and the wanderer, the whisper of countless ages ready to reclaim its secrets. Julian's curiosity ignited as he stepped forward, illuminating the path through the darkening shadows. A coiled tension enveloped him, the excitable thrill of exploration blurring into the hurried heartbeat of fear. Underneath the canopy of stars, he moved toward the ruins, ready to unveil the chapters of history that awaited. And with each approach, he felt the jungle breathe around him, both inviting and foreboding.
The air was thick with humidity, clinging to the skin like an affectionate shroud as the first explorers set foot into the ancient ruins. Hushed whispers of the jungle circled around them, harmonizing with the gentle rustle of leaves stirred by a cautious breeze. Each step they took unraveled a world long forgotten, enshrined in green and gold, wreathed in the mystery of ages past. With every footfall, the explorers felt the underbelly of the earth. It was spongy and yielding, the damp soil sucking in their booted feet. They were drawn to the crumbling stones that jutted from the vibrant foliage, their surfaces cool and rough, paved with centuries of moss and lichen. Wisps of time adhered to these relics. The texture of the stone told tales of volcanic eruptions, of erosion, and of relentless grip by the encompassing jungle. The scent of damp earth permeated the air, mingling with a symphony of sounds that revealed the presence of life within decay. It was an earthy fragrance, a reminder of growth set against the backdrop of loss. The rich loam nourishing the towering trees and vibrant flora surrounding the ruins. Some of the explorers inhaled deeply, feeling invigorated. Others, however, couldn't shake the feeling that the air carried more than mere scent. It whispered secrets buried under layers of time, sobering them with a sense of belonging, yet also of uninvited presence. Here, amidst the tangled roots and twisting vines, shadows danced in the corners of their vision. It began subtly. The light as it broke through the dense canopy painted fleeting shapes, barely tangible. For every sound heard, an echoing call or a distant rustle, there were vague impressions of the long-gone inhabitants of this place. They seemed to flit through the ruins like ghosts, their essence preserved in the air that stilled with reverence. The explorers shared glances, their hearts drumming as if they could almost feel the heat of a past civilization brushing against their skin. What did these people dream of? What laughter or sorrow haunted these stones? The very essence of time appeared to cling to the ruins, each explorer feeling drawn into the history woven into the fabric of the jungle's embrace. With a singular pulse, they stepped further into the heart of the ruins, where stone walls loomed tall and proud, preservers of whispers and shadows. Dread began to unfurl in their hearts, a prickling awareness that this setting, so beautiful and enchanting, was wrought with unknown dangers. The jungle bloomed with life, yet teetered on the edge of peril. The atmosphere thickened, the vague shadows often misplaced in the fissures of light, creating figures that sent shivers along their spines. It was as if the ancient empire imposed a silent challenge, a demand for respect, introspection, and perhaps a penance for disturbance. They moved deeper, surrendering to an inexplicably pulling force, all the while aware that as they ventured forward, the shadows grew more defined, more personal. Every creak of a branch overhead seemed laden with memory, each swath of sunlit dust that filtered down, instilling a renewed sense of both awe and apprehension. What lay beneath the earth they trod? What creatures devised their existence in darkness, hidden and unseen? More than mere specters, the essence of the empire lingered unyielding, compelling them toward the heart of its ruins, while simultaneously imparting a cautionary reminder of nature's unpredictable embrace. As they navigated the overgrown paths, anxiety settled deeper, yet curiosity wrestled for supremacy. The fallen stones beneath their feet grew heavier, memories of once formidable structures weighing on their minds. The explorers could feel time compressing around them, history encasing them ever so tightly, urging them to confront both their aspirations and fears. It was inevitable. Apprehension wrapped around their senses like the creeping roots of the jungle. Each step into the heart of the forgotten civilization felt more perilous, as if the jungle beckoned with a gentle but firm grip, weaving a tapestry rich with both the beauty and hardships of human existence. Immersed in the depths of the empire's remains, the unmistakable essence of what was once vibrant and alive tugged at their thoughts, leaving them acutely aware they were part of a continuum, the past now intermingled with their own. With the labyrinth of stone, vibrant greens, and unspoken past still unfolding before them, the explorers took their next steps into the thicket. Yet that familiar chill, that sense of being watched, shadowy as the jungle itself, reminded them they were no longer mere outsiders. They now existed within the stories that echoed throughout the ruins, transformed from passive onlookers into participants in a narrative shrouded in darkness, and alive with the pulse of exploration. As dawn broke over the verdant expanse of the Amazon rainforest, a golden hue spilled into the dense canopy. The leaves shimmered with the remnants of dew, each droplet a tiny world reflecting the awakening sun. An explorer emerged from the stillness of his camp, his heart pounding with the thrill of another day's adventure. The jungle beckoned, alive with the promise of secrets yet to be uncovered. With each step deeper into the wild, the air thickened with humidity, wrapping around him like a living shroud. The earthy scent of damp soil mingled with the sweet fragrance of blooming orchids, creating a perfume both intoxicating and suffocating. His boots squished into the wet ground, a sound muffled beneath the cacophony of the jungle, a symphony etched by the calls of distant birds and the rustle of unseen creatures amongst the underbrush. The explorer carried a satchel laden with tools and a journal, ready to document his findings. As he hacked his way through the tangles of vines and slippery roots, sweat trickled down his brow, stinging his eyes. Each artifact discovered, a shard of pottery, a curious feather, or a twisted vine, felt like pieces of a greater puzzle, fragments of a world that once thrived in harmony. Yet, with every find, a weight pressed upon his shoulders, a growing concern that the very beauty he sought to uncover was under threat. In the heart of the jungle, the light shifted. Sunbeams danced like ethereal fairies through the gaps in the foliage, illuminating patches of vibrant ferns and luminescent mushrooms. Yet it was in those dappled shadows that danger lurked. He could feel the prickle of eyes upon him, predatory glances from unseen animals, blending perfectly into the jungle's rich tapestry. A rustle in the brush sent a shiver down his spine, each sound amplified by the vast silence that followed. Pausing for a moment, the explorer leaned against a gnarled tree, its bark rough against his skin, a stark reminder of the endurance required in this relentless environment. He closed his eyes, allowing the rhythmic pulse of the jungle to ground him. Exhaustion washed over him like a tide, and he remembered the comforting embrace of home. The sipping of tea, the laughter of friends, the serenity of a quiet room. But the allure of discovery was a fierce mistress, drawing him back into the fray. Every discovery brought with it a bittersweet beauty. He noted the intricate patterns on a piece of discarded earthenware, imagining the hands that once crafted it, the stories it could tell. Each artifact was a bridge to the past, a reminder that life, in all its messy intricacies, thrived here long before him. Yet, with each moment spent admiring the beauty, a heaviness lingered in his thoughts. Would these remnants survive the passage of time? Would they endure the encroachment of men seeking to extract value rather than cherish what was left behind? The afternoon sun bore down fiercely as he pressed on through the thicket, fatigue replacing the initial thrill. Broad leaves provided scant shelter from the heat, and the air thickened, making each breath feel like a laborious task. He stumbled, nearly losing his balance in the mud,
and cursed under his breath. Doubts crept into his mind, shadows whispering of failure, yet gazing around at the beauty encased in the chaotic harmony of life, he found solace. Tiny creatures, brilliant in their hues, flitted about, each busily contributing to the ecosystem with a fervor he envied. The world moved on despite his struggles, each living thing intertwined in a tapestry of life and death, struggle and triumph. The jungle thrummed with energy, a reminder that he was just one of many who had walked this path, and he needed only to find his place within it. As the afternoon waned, he stumbled upon a clearing, a hidden sanctuary where the sun kissed the ground in a gentle embrace. Here, the shadows played tricks, and a great tree stood proud, offering its ancient wisdom. He approached with reverence, tracing the tree's weathered bark with his fingers. What stories had it stood witness to? What lives had flourished beneath its branches? In this moment of quiet reflection, the explorer grasped the delicate balance between celebration and melancholy. He was alive but not alone. In every whisper of the wind, in every rustle of leaves, the voice of the jungle echoed back, reminding him of its fierce beauty and its threat. This was not merely a place of discovery, but of coexistence, where each moment teetered between delight and despair. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a rich tapestry of purples and reds across the sky, he reluctantly turned towards camp. His collection of artifacts, though humble, felt like treasures entrusted to him by time itself. He moved slowly, weary but fulfilled, his heart heavy with the weight of what he had witnessed, and yet lifted by the beauty of the unknown still waiting to unfold. Tomorrow beckoned with the promise of more adventures, more stories to unearth. The explorer knew he would return to the verdant depths of the jungle, yet one question loomed large. Would he be a part of its continued narrative, or merely a fleeting echo? The explorer could only hope he would choose wisely, for in this magnificent, complex world, the answers remained cloaked beneath the thick foliage, hidden from those who sought to understand. As we wander through the remnants of a once vibrant civilization, echoes of its past reverberate softly in the crumbling stones that now stand sentinel against time. The air is infused with a warm melancholy, a reminder of the life that once surged through these halls. Life filled with laughter, song, and the vibrant beating of drums that called communities together for festivities. Imagine, if you will, the sounds that once permeated this place, a tapestry of culture woven together through harmonious chants and spirited performances. The joyous notes of flutes drifted through the air as villagers gathered for seasonal celebrations, marking the changing of the tides and the rhythm of harvest. children danced, their laughter igniting the twilight, while elders with wise faces illuminated by flickering torches recounted tales of ancestors who walked these very paths, celebrating their lineage and the earth that fostered them. Take a moment to consider a ritual long forgotten, the vibrant community harvest festival. Picture the fields, rich and golden, filled with the bounty of nature. As the sun dipped low, villagers adorned in colorful fabrics, sprigs of wildflowers woven into their braided hair, would gather in the communal space. They would sing and dance beneath the fading light, honoring the spirits of the land. The savory aroma of baked bread mingled with the sweet scent of ripe fruits, a sensory feast that surrounded all, each moment intertwined with sacred gratitude for the earth, a respect ingrained in their very being. Yet now in this hushed ruin, remnants of that vibrant life flicker like shadows in the fading light of memory. Where once there was an abundance of voices rising in unison, only silence remains, a silence filled with the weight of absence. The walls are etched with the stories of countless lives lived here, but those stories risk being erased entirely, swallowed by the sands of time and neglect. The loss is not merely physical, it is emotional, a deep-seated ache felt by anyone who stands before these remnants. The sun dips lower, casting long shadows that dance on stone. In the fading twilight, one can almost hear the elation of the past, the chorus of a community bonded through shared experiences, known and unknown. Yet within this beauty lies fragility, for without our intervention, the vibrant sounds of this culture may disappear, silenced by nature's creeping vines and eroding earth. Herein lies the crux of our journey, the stakes of preservation versus oblivion. As the last echoes of this culture whisper through the air, so do we feel a profound responsibility to bear witness to this legacy. Will we allow the vibrant stories of laughter, sorrow, and triumph to dissolve into nothingness? Or will we step forward to nurture and protect, to share with the world the rich tapestry that has been woven in these forgotten corners? It is a poignant reminder that every fragment of history, be it a song, a dance, or a simple breath taken on these lands, holds meaning that connects us to our shared humanity. The challenge is formidable, a heart-wrenching duality where each choice made determines whether future generations will hear the whispers of the past or only know the silence. And so, in this moment of contemplation, as your senses awaken to the tactile remnants, the crumbling stone, the weathered wood of collapsed structures, consider the stories encased within. These are not merely ruins, but a canvas painted with the dreams and aspirations of those who came before us. Consciously or not, we stand on sacred ground, urged by an emotional tether to honor these memories. Preserving this history not only safeguards the echoes of a vibrant culture, it fortifies our own identities, reminding us of resilience, hope, and the importance of community. As we leave this place, may we carry with us the weight of these stories, the laughter that once filled the air, and the sacred responsibility of nurturing the remnants of what was so that we may understand who we are and the legacies we choose to protect.
Deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, a dense curtain of foliage swayed gently under a sweltering sun. To the untrained eye, this world hummed with an exhilarating rhythm, a sensation of adventure lingering in the air. Yet for those who wandered this verdant labyrinth, an unsettling tension lurked just beneath the surface. Dr. Eleanor Asher, an intrepid explorer and anthropologist, had entered the jungle with a heart full of ambition. As the days wore on, however, she began to pick up on the subtle shifts in her surroundings. The usual sounds of chattering monkeys and the symphony of cicadas waned. In their place, an eerie stillness grew, wrapping around her like a cold embrace. It was as if the jungle held its breath, anticipating something far greater than just the sweltering afternoon heat. Then came the sky. The once brilliant azure had darkened, heavy clouds rolling in like ominous waves. As she pressed further into the depths of the jungle, the air charged with an electrifying energy, a foreshadowing of the storms to come. The dampness settled on her skin, the scent of rain mingling with the rich, earthy undertones of decay. Eleanor could feel a stirring in her chest, a gut instinct warning her to turn back, yet her curiosity propelled her forward, deeper into the enigma of the landscape. As she navigated the twisting vines, she stumbled upon the ancient stone temple that had eluded her for weeks. Vines choked its crumbling facade, but the etched glyphs gleamed with stories longing to be told. A surge of triumph coursed through her as she carefully mapped the intricate carvings, her fingers brushing against the cool stone. Yet in that moment of joy, a chilling sensation enveloped her. A sensation that something was amiss, as if the jungle itself was warning her against unraveling its secrets. Suddenly, a gust of wind erupted, tearing through the foliage like an animal possessed. The trees whispered dread as leaves rained down, and a guttural growl resonated from the depths of the underbrush, unlike anything Eleanor had heard before. Heart racing, she whirled around, only to feel something slip from her grasp. The artifact. It was a small, intricately carved figurine she had unearthed from the base of the temple. A treasure that bore the weight of centuries of history. As it tumbled through her fingers, time seemed to slow. Her breath quickened as she watched it plunge into the undergrowth, swallowed by the very jungle she had come to explore. In the stillness that followed, a profound sense of loss washed over her. This was not just a significant find. This was a fragment of her purpose, her research, and it had vanished just like that. Frantically, Eleanor knelt in the underbrush,
the thick scent of damp foliage overwhelming her senses. The jungle felt alive, the silence filled with an unspoken threat. Shadows danced ominously as the skies darkened, a curtain of rain beginning to cascade from the heavens. It was as if the jungle was mocking her, relishing the chaos of the moment. Each heartbeat thrummed in her ears, amplifying the encroaching fear that crept through her veins. "Breathe, Eleanor, stay calm," she whispered to herself, even as her thoughts spiraled. Every sound heightened. Each rustle of leaves echoed like a warning bell. Every drop of rain a reminder of her precarious situation. She was alone now, without her treasure and perhaps without her way back. The winds howled, carrying with them ghostly whispers that seemed to taunt her failings. Panic threatened to take hold, but she refocused her thoughts. This was merely an incident, an obstacle to be overcome. Yet in the shadow of the towering trees, Eleanor faced the darker truths she had skirted around. This jungle was a force of nature, untamable and relentless. She was but a fleeting presence in its vast history. A part of her longed for the comfort of civilization, the reassurance of familiarity, yet another part craved the thrill of the unknown. As raindrops began to drum against the leaves, angering the earth with their cadence, Eleanor stood once more and wiped her brow, steeling herself. There was no place for fear in the heart of an explorer. She had to retrieve that artifact. To leave it here was to deny the very purpose she had devoted her life to. The wind whispered through the canopy, swaying branches like solemn witnesses to her vow. She would not turn back. With renewed determination, Eleanor chose a trail that wound deeper into the shadowed undergrowth. The path morphed beneath her feet, slippery from the latest downpour, but she approached each step with care, her senses keenly aware of every little nuance around her. The world felt different now, each sound sharper, every scent more pungent. The jungle was alive with its own pulsing heartbeat, and she could hear it thumping in myriad rhythms, echoing her own. The artifact awaited her. She would find it, no matter how deeply she had to delve. With the storm brewing above her, a bittersweet blend of anxiety and hope settled within her, mingling with the smell of the wet earth. The unease was merely a prelude to discovery, and she was ready to embrace whatever the jungle had in store.
In the midst of a world fraught with uncertainty, where the tumult of change swept across landscapes like a restless tide, there lay a sanctuary, a massive tree that stood resilient amidst chaos. Its gnarled branches reached out like welcoming arms, draping a thick green canopy above, shielding the explorer from the harshness of the environment surrounding them. Here, beneath the majesty of the tree, tranquility found its way to him, an oasis of calm amidst the storm. The air was thick with the fragrance of damp earth and the rich aroma of decaying leaves. The ground, softened by a cushion of moss, embraced the explorer's weary limbs, offering respite from his arduous journey. He leaned against the cool, rough trunk, feeling the pulse of life hidden within the organic giant. With each breath, he inhaled the scent of life itself, mingled with the distant sound of rustling leaves, the gentle creaking of branches swaying together in the breeze, providing a symphony that whispered tales of endurance. And then, in that moment of serene silence, his gaze was drawn to an unexpected sight. Amidst the tangled roots and the dense undergrowth that had painted the surroundings in shadows, there blossomed a singular radiant bloom, an exquisite flower whose brilliance was in stark contrast to the somber world around it. Its petals glistened in vivid hues of purple and gold, shimmering in the dappled sunlight that managed to trickle through the tree's expansive leaves. This rare bloom was unlike anything he had encountered in his travels. It stood proudly, defiant against the odds, a testament to the wonder of nature's resilience in the face of a world that seemed to be at the brink of collapse. The explorer's heart stirred with a sense of awe as he beheld the flower's delicate beauty. Each petal, with its velvety texture, seemed to pulse with life, as if it were a heartbeat in a landscape that felt largely devoid of hope. He contemplated the flower's impossible existence, marveling at how it thrived despite the harsh realities of its environment. As he sat in this moment of reflection, he thought of the trials that defined the days he had known. He had observed many fading glories, civilizations crumbling to dust. Yet this flower reminded him of the limitless power of endurance, of beauty that could persist even when surrounded by decay. Nature, in its patient wisdom, revealed that hope did not vanish entirely. It simply shifted, often revealing itself in the most unexpected of places. He closed his eyes, allowing the warmth of the sun to wash over him, feeling the pulse of life flow like an ancient river beneath the bark of the tree. What a contrast this moment presented. Chaos and serenity, despair and hope intertwined together. Each breath he took was infused with a deep reverence for the natural world, as he acknowledged his smallness in the grand tapestry of life. The rustling leaves eventually beckoned him back into the world. Yet as he opened his eyes, the flower remained, a vivid memory etched against the canvas of his mind. He could almost hear its silent proclamation of endurance, a reminder that beauty and strength can find a way, that amidst the cacophony of despair, hope might just bloom anew. With a heart rekindled and a spirit lifted, he knew the path ahead would not be easy. But even in the darkest shadows, he could carry the image of that rare bloom, a symbol of resilience, as he ventured onward into the fading world. As the sun dipped below the canopy, darkness unfurled across the jungle like a heavy blanket, pressing the day into submission. A backdrop of cicadas began their incessant song, blending seamlessly with the raucous calls of distant howler monkeys, the whispers of leaves stirring in a warm, humid wind. Shadows deepened and danced, creating a world where shapes played tricks on the eyes, and the very air felt thick with the essence of biodiverse life. In this enveloping darkness, an explorer leaned against the rough bark of a towering ceiba tree, a firm yet grounding presence in the vast wilderness. His heart beat steadily against his ribcage, syncing with the pulse of the jungle. Time felt unbound in its expansive reach, and he allowed himself a moment of stillness, seeking solace amid the chorus of night. He closed his eyes, immersing himself in the symphony of the dark. The rustling leaves, the erratic beating of wings nearby, the soft footfalls of unseen creatures on the loamy forest floor. The sounds wrapped around him, familiar yet invigorating, enhancing the vivid tapestry of memories he carried like tokens from his journey. Day after day, he had traversed this wild expanse, grappling with nature's raw beauty and unyielding power. What ephemeral beauty, he mused, had welcomed him into its embrace? The colors of the sunrise had painted the horizons with fiery hues, yet it was the dusk, with its deepening blues and purples, that truly captured his spirit. Each moment felt fleeting, like the ephemeral dance of a firefly lighting the night, illuminating the unseen for but a heartbeat before returning to the dark. His thoughts drifted back to the path he had taken through the dense foliage, the whisper of secrets carried on the wind. Every step had been a testament to the challenge of living among the ancient trees and vivid blooms, needing to listen, to adapt. He remembered the fleeting beauty of a blossom's bloom, vibrant and alluring but soon gone, replaced by its past glory only in the memory, a metaphor for life itself. In his soliloquy, he pondered if beauty was truly meant to be preserved or merely experienced. The jungle, his teacher, had taught him that every vibrant color, every burgeoning leaf, came with the knowledge of its eventual fall. It made him realize that within the realm of existence, there lay a delicate balance, a dance of perpetuity and impermanence. Was it the transient nature of life that magnified its value? Around him, the sounds of the jungle continued. Some distant growls and rustling branches interrupted by the rhythmic tapping of a woodpecker's bill against wood. In the veil of darkness, his mind conjured vivid images of what once thrived here. He envisioned the jaguars that prowled under moonlit shadows, silently hunting, fierce and majestic, their spots camouflaged beneath the dappled light. He imagined indigenous tribes, long before him, inhabiting this wild jungle, living in harmony with their surroundings and weaving lives rich in tradition, interwoven with reverence for the land. The scent of damp earth mingled with the fragrance of decaying foliage,
grounding him further in this moment. He breathed deeply, savoring the earthy aroma. Suddenly, a constellation of fireflies illuminated around him, brighter against the dense backdrop, echoing the illuminating thoughts racing through his mind. They swirled and danced, drawing him deeper into a fleeting dreamscape where the past met present seamlessly. He was walking again, but not in the present. Instead, he was slipped back into stories, reliving the swirling folklore of the jungle and its people. Elders spoke of moonlit rituals, dances celebrating the life force that pulsed through their veins and filled the air with a sense of belonging. He felt the weight of their wisdom, a blend of ancient knowledge echoing against the fabric of his existence today. As he stood at the intersection of thought and dream, a vision struck him. A waterfall cascading through dense foliage, its roar masking the soft whispers of spirits moving through the trees. The glimmering water caught the moonlight. Each droplet flickered like shimmering gems, symbolizing dreams and aspirations that came and went, flowing in and out of periods of clarity like the water that overtakes the rocks and forms beautiful patterns over time. In this meditative cocoon where day surrendered to night, the explorer understood on a deeper level. The jungle was not merely a backdrop to his journey. It was a living testament to resilience and memory. Its beauty lay in its resolve to exist, despite the encroaching darkness of modernity. The memories he forged here, like tendrils of vine intertwining, were now part of him, showing him that within the darkness lingered a spectrum of light. Finally, as the night fully enveloped him, he felt an understanding wash over him, an appreciation for this moment, this peace. In the stillness that surrounds, life flickers ever so briefly, the ephemeral beauty erupting, transforming, and vanishing just as quickly in the expanse of creation. His journey through the jungle had been but a chapter among many, each filled with stories of resilience, struggle, and beauty in transition. And as the sounds of the jungle faded into the background and a comforting silence deepened, he knew he would carry this reflection with him, a torch guiding him through the world beyond, illuminating the path ahead.
In the late afternoon light, golden beams filtered through the fronds of the dense rainforest, illuminating a modest wooden cabin nestled among the towering trees. Inside, the air was thick with the earthy scent of damp soil and the sweet aroma of blooming orchids. Papers lay strewn across a sturdy table, maps crinkled and ink smudged from hurried notes. This was the refuge of our intrepid explorer, Samuel Atkinson, whose heart raced with the thrill of discovery while overshadowed by an encroaching sense of responsibility. Months spent traversing uncharted territory had yielded bountiful treasures, from lush ecosystems awash with vibrant life to ancient artifacts whispering tales from forgotten civilizations. Yet as Samuel sat poring over his notes, the gravity of what he had uncovered began to weigh heavily upon him. He had witnessed magnificent lands, but he wrestled with the thought of how to share these wonders without exploiting or misrepresenting them. His mind spiraled into strategy, fueling a new resolve, a desire to document and share responsibly, preserving the integrity of the very cultures and environments that inspired him. With a deep breath, Samuel set to work. He envisioned a plan that would not only chronicle the marvels he had seen, but also engage the local communities through collaboration. As he crafted his ideas, he felt the weight of hope blossom within, yet a shadow of fear lurked close behind. Would they be receptive? Would his efforts to connect across cultural divides falter at the first step? He envisioned the scene. Local researchers and authorities gathering under a vibrant canopy, their laughter mingling with the sounds of the forest. The high-pitched calls of toucans and the steady hum of cicadas. Samuel imagined himself standing among them, sharing stories of his journey, while also listening deeply to their knowledge passed down through generations. It was a beautiful tapestry of shared discovery, each thread representing a voice, a story, a history that deserved to be woven into the narrative of the land. The rain pattered gently against the roof of the cabin as Samuel flipped through lush illustrations he had sketched. Animals prowled in scenes filled with the raw beauty of nature. Each drawing, a moment captured, had the potential to inspire others beyond his secluded expedition. Yet mingled with that enthusiasm was a gnawing trepidation. Would his interpretations be seen as illuminating or as condescending? How would they react to a foreigner attempting to share their homeland with the world? Samuel glanced out of the cabin window, watching sunlight dance on the dew-kissed leaves, his mind racing. As the sounds of the wilderness enveloped him, a spark ignited. He grabbed a brush and canvas, committing to paint not only what he had seen, but also what he felt, making room for the stories of the people and animals he had encountered along the way. In that moment of creation, he acknowledged his vulnerability, yet embraced the notion that true exploration comes with the courage to connect. Days turned into weeks, and the time finally came for Samuel to take the delicate step of reaching out. He meticulously crafted letters in both English and the local dialect, inviting local scholars and community leaders to an informal meeting. His hesitance was palpable. He feared myriad interpretations of his intentions. Would they hear the heart behind the ink, or simply perceive a visitor's intrusion? When the day of the gathering dawned, the air was electric with expectation. Samuel arrived at a meeting place served by an indigenous caretaker, a clearing transformed by colorful woven mats and the familiar scent of fresh fruit. Heartbeats quickened as familiar figures emerged from the dense underbrush, eyes studying him with cautious curiosity. Flashes of warmth sparked amidst uncertainty as he began speaking, heart racing and shaking slightly. He introduced himself,
his voice a mix of humility and excitement, sharing his discoveries and painting vivid imagery of the landscape he adored. Slowly, the apprehension melted from their faces, replaced by intrigue. Each story he told was a thread tying him closer to this vibrant community, a shared breath in recognition of their intertwined futures. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the gathering, Samuel felt the welcoming embrace of optimism. Yet, tucked within that embrace, the fear still lingered. Would they accept him? Would his intentions truly align with the principles of responsible sharing? At that moment, though, he decided to relinquish some control, leaving space in the conversation for their thoughts, narratives, and insights. The atmosphere swelled with words woven together, the shared commitments echoing through the canopy, assuring Samuel that he was not an outsider, but a voice longing to join their chorus. As the dialogue unfolded, Samuel's heart swelled with a profound realization. It was not about him dictating terms, but rather about co-creating a space where knowledge and experience flowed seamlessly between him and those he desired to engage with. Each researcher, each scholar, held a wealth of understanding essential to the fabric of storytelling he wished to weave. In those moments, the fears of misunderstanding, the echoes of doubt, faded like the last rays of sunlight trying to penetrate through the foliage. Samuel began to glimpse a reality where cultures met on a level playing field, emboldened by shared ambitions, respect, and the understanding that exploration does not forge a barrier, but rather builds a bridge. As the gathering dissipated and the night draped its velvet cloak over the forest, Samuel felt lighter. Tomorrow would dawn with new conversations, with newfound allies. He had taken the first robust step into a future brimming with hope, united by a commitment to responsible discovery. In the embrace of the forest, he sensed that he was not merely a wanderer, but a catalyst for collaboration in the dance of life unfolding around him.
In the fading light of dusk, the village lay silent, shrouded in the mysteries of twilight. Gone were the days of bustling exchanges and laughter that danced in the air. Now shadows crawled over crumbling mud bricks, a bittersweet testament to the passage of time. It was here, in this small place cradled by the hills, that the weary traveler returned, an explorer whose tales of distant lands and secret findings ignited flickers of hope amongst the inhabitants. The explorer's name was Elias, a man whose years had been spent traversing forgotten paths, whose compass had been guided by an insatiable thirst for knowledge. With each dusty step back to the village, his heart swelled with pride for what he had uncovered, yet heavy with the burden of the reactions that awaited him. He had shared stories of hidden valleys, streams that shimmered like liquid silver, and vegetable groves yielding harvests well beyond the seasons. Yet among the murmurs of excitement,
there lay an undercurrent of skepticism. That very evening, Elias convened a gathering beneath the ancient fig tree, its gnarled branches bearing witness to generations of lore. As villagers began to stir, the scent of wood smoke mingled with the gentle aroma of wild herbs filling the air. The fire flickered, casting warm shadows while Elias narrated his discoveries. He spoke of vast lands brimming with fertility and waters that could quench their thirst. Yet even as Elias poured his heart into the tales, there were faces turned away. Chin up, brow furrowed, skeptical eyes mirrored the flickering flames, shadows of doubt waving against the warm glow. And you found these places without guiding stars, without maps of our ancients? One elder scoffed, his voice thick with the weight of tradition. This was the delicate dance of acceptance and skepticism, the reality of living in a culture that balanced pride in their ancestors with hope for the future. The echoes of disbelief struck deeply. Just last season, the village had endured a drought. The land had birthed only shriveled crops, and their souls craved more than stories. They needed reassurance, a promise that such bounty could be theirs. In the days that followed, news of Elias's journeys spread, rippling through the village and out to surrounding settlements. Those who embraced his words felt the soft warmth of dreams inflating like balloons, buoying spirits that had been deflated by hardship. Children gazed wide-eyed, envisioning lush landscapes, their imaginations painting pictures brighter than reality. Yet, disbelief festered like weeds among fragrant blooms. Life continued, shadows of decay thickening around the villagers' homes. The roofs sagged under years of neglect, their earthy scent heavy in the air, mixing with the sharp cry of the wind through cracked window panes. A bittersweet knot formed in Elias's heart, the joy of shared stories weighed by the reality of continued suffering. There were whispers of ventures to seek the lands he spoke of, yet the reluctance remained palpable, for each step on a new path required faith not everyone possessed. Each what if ignited debates wherein hope battled against a fear distilling from long-held customs. To abandon past rituals seemed a betrayal, and the discomfort clung to conversations like a damp cloak. Elias forged on, fueled by belief in a world ripe with potential, understanding that the fragile threads of trust could not be tangled so easily. There would be small victories. A hand planted in fertile soil would yield vibrant shoots as eager farmers ventured forth with a new tool, encouraged by the tales spoken, half remembered, yet clinging to the edges of dreams. As the months rolled into a season of hard labor, vines crept up walls, bursting bright against the dark backdrop of earth. Elias at times lingered beneath the fig tree, a symbolic connection to the past, sensing how the soil held secrets unspoken, intertwined with the stories shared. Those who gathered found comfort in the vibrant tales surrounding him, laughter effervescing into the once still air. But with every story told, there remained a weight, for decay still lingered, manifesting in wilting flowers and the cracked visage of lost homes. It was the joy of shared stories, shadowed by the bittersweet acknowledgement of the realities confronting them. The warmth of collective laughter could hardly silence declining structures, decaying even amid rising hopes. Yet somehow, as day turned to dusk, the bonds forged around the stories endured. In forbidden corners of the village, hushed discussions drummed up new courage. There was whispered talk of exploration, of journeying alongside Elias in search of fertile lands bathed in golden light, freshly watered by hope. As they gathered to share stories, the explorer drew strength from their resolve, his heart whispering promises to the winds. Elias became a bridge, a conduit between skeptical hearts and fervent dreams. With the embrace of acceptance and doubt, they formed a tapestry of humanity cradled under the fig tree, for that was where the soul of their community flourished. Time ticked on, unyielding, as vines crept ever closer, holding a fleeting mirror to both decay and resilience, a mosaic of shared stories, every thread reflecting a story yet told. In a world gently cradled between the embrace of ancient trees and the whisper of winds that carried stories for centuries, an explorer stood at the edge of a shell-strewn shoreline. Dusk painted the sky in hues of burnt orange and soft lavender, each color capturing fleeting moments of day's glory before surrendering to night. As the salt-laden breeze danced with the long strands of her hair, she felt an undeniable pull toward the horizon, where nature and culture intertwined like the delicate threads of an ancient tapestry, frayed but still vibrant. With every step upon the weathered sands, echoes of past lives tugged at her consciousness. She envisioned villagers once bustling along the shoreline, their laughter mingling with the rhythm of waves crashing against the rocks, their feet leaving transient prints, much like her own. Each shell-embedded step became a meditation on the vibrant cultures that flourished here, sculpted by the very land and sea upon which she stood. The water's surface shimmered, mirroring the interplay between culture and nature, as if trying to communicate their enduring bond to anyone willing to listen. The land breathed and sighed beneath her feet, rich with the scents of earth and brine, the undulating hills reflecting the rhythms of an ancient culture. The explorer closed her eyes, allowing the sounds of chirping crickets and distant waves to guide her thoughts back to ages long gone. She wondered how the ancients revered these elements, weaving them into their traditions, stories, and rituals, preserved through countless generations. Here where nature sleeps and awakens in cyclical harmony, she perceived the echoes of ancestral wisdom that transcended time. As twilight deepened and shadows stretched across her path, she she spotted remnants of an old fishing village nestled between craggy rocks. Weather-beaten wooden huts bore the scars of time. Their rustic walls told tales of laboring hands and hearty meals shared by families who lived in concert with the sea. Within these ruins lay whispers of a culture slowly fading into obscurity, yet resonating still through the air, inviting her to contemplate a crucial interconnectedness, the reliance of humanity on nature, and vice versa. The settling dusk brought its cool embrace, enveloping the explorer as she reached out to touch the surface of a weathered wooden beam. It felt alive, pulsating with stories of men who had eagerly awaited their catch. Mothers who had set dinners by glowing embers, children who had danced to songs of the sea. With every caress, she felt a continuity stretching through time, binding the lives once lived to the present moment. The air crackled with a sense of urgency, urging her to embrace the lessons of the past even as she stood firmly in the now. She began to realize that although the culture of the villagers had waned, consumed by the relentless advance of time, a part of their legacy lived on within her. The explorer's hands grazed the grains of sand as if to extract the essence of those bygone souls. A pilgrimage of sorts, honoring the lives once intertwined with the land. It was here in this fading world that she understood the magnitude of continuity. Each wave that lapped against the shore was a reminder of cycles, of life, death, and rebirth. Nature, with its undying tenacity, kept the echoes of the past alive, each season painting a vibrant tapestry of memories cascading through the ages. The explorers choosing to listen would discover connections bridging them to all who had walked this path before. With clarity emerging from contemplation, she realized that in preserving her own culture, she was not merely echoing the past, but also resounding forward, to weave her experiences into the fabric of life that stretched beyond her time. In preserving the tales she gathered, the traditions she practiced, and the heritage she cherished, she too became an echo in the continuum of history. Night descended, wrapping the world in a cloak of darkness jeweled with stars, each a witness to the collective history of all who sought the shoreline. The explorer breathed deeply, allowing the salty air to fill her lungs, grounding her in the knowledge that culture and nature would forever dance together. As she turned to leave, the footprints she had impressed on this sacred space would be consumed by the tides. Yet the essence of her presence would linger, woven into the echoes of time, a thread in the eternal tapestry. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the landscape, the explorer made his way toward the ancient ruins one final time. Each step raised a small cloud of dust, remnants of countless years that had slipped by,
enveloping him in a sense of nostalgia. The air was still, save for the distant rustle of dry leaves, a whisper of the past intermingled with the weight of the moment. The ruins stood magnificent yet melancholic, their weathered stones adorned with creeping vines. Nature's embrace, gently erasing the hand of man. The explorer paused at the threshold of this sacred space, memories flooding his mind like waves across the shore. Here he had discovered not just artifacts, but fragments of himself. Each carved stone, each faded mural had been a chapter in his life story, rich with adventures, failures, and triumphs. As he stepped into the heart of the ruins, he inhaled deeply. The scent of damp earth struck him, a grounding aroma that mingled with the faint, sweet hint of wildflowers blooming defiantly among the aged stone. It was a reminder that life persists, even in the face of decay. He traced his fingers along the rough surface of a wall, feeling the grooves and crevices, each touch a testament to the passage of time. Perhaps his presence was as transient as the dust that danced in the sunlight filtering through the cracks. There was a bittersweet tension in the air. Hope and sorrow coalesced, a fused chord that resonated within him. He looked across the remnants of the ancient civilization, at the forgotten chambers and hewn pillars, all reminders of stories ended and beginnings lost. It was easy to feel a sense of despair, the untold narratives of lives once lived and the dreams unfulfilled. Yet within that sorrow, a flicker of hope had ignited. These ruins were a canvas of resilience. Nature had taken its course and reclaimed that which was once surrendered. The explorer felt a kinship with the place. The ruins were a mirror reflecting his own journey. He too had withered under the weight of ambitions, only to blossom anew in unexpected ways. He understood now that life was not a straight path, but a series of cycles. The ebb and flow of existence mirrored in the changing of the seasons. Choosing to leave a piece of himself behind, he retrieved a small artisan trinket from his satchel. A simple carving of an animal that had been a companion during his travels. As he placed it gently on the ledge, a surge of emotion flooded through him. Would it be seen? Would it remain for future explorers to find? It was with a heavy heart, yet a lighter spirit, that he realized he was not just an observer, but a participant in a larger narrative, one of growth, decay, and renewal. Taking a moment to absorb the scene around him, he let the weight of the past wash over him, allowing reconciliation to settle in his heart. The sun was now dipping further, creating long shadows that stretched across the ruins, cradling them in a luminous embrace. It was a farewell, yes, but also a welcome. Within this cycle of nature, endings were simply beginnings cloaked in the shroud of time. As he strolled back towards the pathway, his steps became lighter, buoyed by the acceptance of change. With each step, he felt the remnants of sorrow transform into something far richer,
a sense of connection to the world around him, and an understanding that every ending bore the seeds of new life. Beyond the ruins, life thrived in myriad forms. Each flower that bloomed, each petal that fell, was a reminder that though he was leaving behind a piece of himself, he was also embracing all that was yet to come. In the glow of the twilight, he whispered a silent promise to return should fate allow. But even if he did not, the explorer knew he was part of this cycle. The same cycle that nurtured the ancient stones and welcomed the wildflowers. He accepted that change was not to be feared but embraced, a vital part of existence. He walked away from the ruins, heart full, ready to greet the new normal that awaited him.
In the gentle twilight of a distant evening, we find ourselves at the close of a remarkable journey, a tale woven through the tapestry of time. The sun dips below the horizon, casting a warm glow that flickers like memories just past our grasp. Here in this stillness, let us take a moment to pause and reflect. Collections of thoughts, moments, and dreams swirl like autumn leaves dancing in the breeze, inviting you to draw connections to your own life's journey. As we traverse this path together, we have danced with wonder, experiencing ephemeral flashes of beauty, moments that catch the breath and lift the heart. Think of the first dawn's light spilling over the ancient ruins, stirring the silence of a long-forgotten civilization. It was a reminder that wonder exists in the most unexpected corners of our lives. There, amidst the broken stones and ivy-clad walls, we felt the stirrings of a past alive, filled with hope and ambition. Perhaps you too have encountered such moments, glimmers that make the ordinary seem extraordinary. Moments that invite us to embrace the vastness of existence, a divine grandeur tinged with the tenderness of human touch. Yet, with the ecstasy of wonder often comes the shadow of fear. Fear, like a distant echo, whispers its warnings. It lurks in the heart of every journey, reminding us of our fragility. Perhaps like the fear felt upon standing at the edge of a great chasm, witnessing the vast abyss that lies before you. You have also faced those doubts, the uncertainties that ripple through your heart when embracing change. As we witnessed brave souls undertaking perilous voyages, let those reflections resonate within you, unveiling how fear at times is simply a testament to the value we place upon our dreams. We have also touched upon themes of preservation, the delicate art of remembrance. This thread connects us to that sense of duty, a call to remember and honor what came before us. The ancestral songs of our forebears, echoing through the ages, beckon us to preserve their wisdom. As we walked through those ancient ruins, did you feel the weight of history upon your shoulders?
The stories etched into the stones speak of lives lived, loves lost, and victories claimed. In this reflection, consider what you wish to preserve in your own life. What stories do you hold close, and which of their lessons might guide you as you navigate the winding paths ahead? Conversely, the fleeting nature of our experiences nudges us into the realm of forgetfulness. Life has a way of sweeping time through its fingers, creating a haze where brilliant moments fade to whispers. The wind carries them away, turning vibrant colors into muted shades. Have you ever experienced how quickly a beautiful memory can slip into the shadows? Embrace this understanding. It is a fundamental aspect of existence. To engage fully in life, you must be willing to hold both heartaches and joys with open palms. In letting go, we create space for new narratives, all the while maintaining the heart of our stories alive. As the day wanes, we reach an intersection, a gentle closure to the journey embarked upon. Yet this is not a definitive end. Rather, consider it a pause at a point of introspection. Here you are invited to feel the soft hum of possibility that thrums around you. What awaits just beyond the next horizon? What stories remain untold, waiting to unfold in the chapters of your life? In the dimming light, as echoes of the past intertwine with whispers of the future, embrace this moment of reflection wholeheartedly. The tapestry of your life is rich, vibrant, and intricate. Every fear and wonder has woven itself into the very fabric of who you are. And as you move forward, let the threads of preservation and memory remain steadfast, unable to be forgotten or unnoticed. Close your eyes, take a breath, and listen to the distant echoes of countless stories compiled through lifetimes. They vibrate in the silence, hinting at what is yet to come. Hold on to your journey, for it is uniquely yours, and nurture the seeds of possibility that take root within your spirit. As the last light of day fades from the sky,
A new dawn waits patiently, bringing with it untold stories eager to emerge. As we draw nearer to the end of our journey, let us envision the paths we took together, the whispers of stories that floated through the air like delicate petals on a soft breeze. You may find yourself lingering on the edges of remembrance, where every scene we encountered colored the canvas of your mind. Breathe deeply now, feeling the air fill your lungs, rich with the essence of the histories we've explored. Inhale slowly and let the fragrance of the wildflowers we passed awaken your senses. The warm golden glow of the sun wrapping around each blossom, capturing the fragile beauty that life often presents. Picture each petal a tiny masterpiece bursting forth from the earth,
reminding us of the ephemeral nature of existence. They bloom, they fade, but in that fleeting time, they hold a beauty that transcends eternity. The tales we shared resonate softly in the corridors of your heart. Recall the soft rustle of leaves in ancient forests, the distant call of a nightingale serenading twilight, and the echo of laughter carried by the wind. Every moment was a thread woven into the rich tapestry of history, layered with emotion, loss, and love. Feel this warmth seep into your core, enveloping you like a cherished memory. Let us pause and acknowledge the fragility that accompanies beauty. Just as a butterfly flits gracefully for only a season, so too do our experiences emerge and dissolve. Hold dear the emotions stirred within you throughout our journey. They are the lights that guide your dreams. Each heartbeat surges with the echoes of laughter shared and the soft sighs of stories passed down through generations. In this tranquil space, envision yourself standing at the edge of a serene lake, its surface smooth like glass under the gentle caress of a summer breeze. The reflections shimmer softly, mirroring the tales spoken and the dreams yet to be dreamt. As you breathe in, let the stillness settle within you. It is here that the stories intertwine with your own, waiting for you to embrace them. As the sun slips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of purple and gold, acknowledge the stillness that descends with the night. Allow your thoughts to drift like clouds across the twilight sky, each thought a gentle reminder of the experiences, both haunting and beautiful, that have shaped your heart. You are not merely a bystander in this delicate dance of time. Instead, you are part of a larger narrative, one where your dreams are woven into the fabric of the universe. Allow yourself to embrace this connection as you prepare to wander into your own dreamscapes. The stories are a part of you now, anchoring you in a place of beauty, resilience, and hope. So as twilight deepens and the stars begin to emerge, take a moment to reflect on your journey. With every breath you take, let go of the day's burdens and embrace the promise of rest. Your dreams are waiting, filled with the timeless echoes of beauty and the gentle fragility of life's tapestry. Let each breath you take be a step toward serene acceptance. You are ready to release the weight of the day and surrender to sweet slumber. Listen as the night whispers to you, cradling you in its comforting embrace. Your heart is now free to soar among the stars, guided by the stories we've shared. In this tranquil space, as you embrace your dreams, remember their power to heal, to inspire, and to carry the essence of your journey with them. Rest easy now and let your spirit wander until morning's light brings forth new beginnings.